On some occasions in your digital graphic, you might decide to add in some advanced text tools. So we're going to look today at the Type Mask tool, and that is here. I'm going to click on the text tool here, this one here. I'm going to use the horizontal type mask tool. Now, before we use it, we have to understand what it is. It's basically putting a picture or texture to some text, cutting it out, and then using it as a layer on your digital graphic. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my theme of daisies and say, for example, I want some daisies to appear as a picture in my text. First thing I'm going to do is go onto the internet. I'm going to go to a site which has got free pictures on it. It's called pixabay.com. Brilliant website. So you can download lots of images for free on here without having to log in, which is really helpful. So you can see here, for example, I can just type in my search criteria, daisy. There we go. Now these ones are sponsored and they cost money, but if you look down here, it gives you the best daisy images, for example, from HD to 4K quality, all free for download. Now, remembering what we talked about earlier with technical compatibility, I want something which is suitable for what I'm using it for, so a fairly large image. Now, it's different for Google than Google Images. If I hover over it, it won't show me the resolution. I actually have to go into the picture. So let me show you what I mean, first of all. Let's find one that I think would be good to use for a background. I want to see different parts of a daisy. So let's try that one, for example. It's slow loading. There we go. So the resolution for this particular image is down here. So I can see it's got a really high pixel dimension, so I know it's going to be really clear when I'm using it for my background, which is fantastic. And to save this, I literally press free download, or I can right click and press save image as, which is what I'm going to do. And you save your image in exactly the same way as we did before. Whoops, Daisy 4, there we go. And that's the file I'm going to use in Photoshop for my daisy background for my text. So when I'm in Photoshop, I don't want to put this as a layer. I want to open it as its own image. So this one looks like it will disappear. It won't. It'll appear as a separate tab up here. So I'm going to go File and Open. I'm going to open Daisy 4, which is the one I just saved. And there it is. It is its own image. So the other one is still there. Look on this different tab. It's just here. And you'll be doing this a lot when we do other techniques. It allows you to manipulate the image separately and then put it into your digital graphic, which is quite helpful. So the first thing I'm going to do is unlock it by clicking there, and that unlocks the layer. And then I'm going to choose here the horizontal type mask tool. Now, before I start using it, I'm going to decide on the style that I want. Now, I want it quite thick writing because I want to see the image in the background of the writing. So I'm just going to go through here and choose a font that's got quite a broad. Let's choose that one. There we go. And I'm also going to go with a slightly larger font. Let's see what that looks like there. Great. That's quite large actually, so I might want to take that down. Let's try 36. There we go. Now it's meant to have that red overlay, so don't worry. It's meant to look like that. And these words in Latin here are also meant to be there. They will disappear when you start typing. So if I just start typing daisies, there we go, you can see it gives an outline of the image that's going to appear through. Now at the moment I'm not happy with that because I can't see any daisies in this particular piece of the word. So when I move my cursor to the right, you can see it changed to the 4 move crosses. So I'm just going to click and drag that and position it where I want it to appear so I can see it through the writing. Trying to see what would look best. So it takes a bit of playing around. It depends on the image you've got. You might decide to change your image. It really just depends on the type of image that you've got. I don't think there's enough daisies in that one. Let me try that. There we go. So once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to either press the tick there or press enter to show I'm happy. And you'll see it looks like what they call marching ants. if I go to the move tool, marching ants are still there, but when I move my cursor over the marching ants, the outline of the words that are moving, that is, you can see the cursor changes to an arrow with a pair of scissors, and that means I can cut it out. So what I'm going to do is click on it when it's like that with my left mouse button, keep it held, and I'm going to drag it. And I'm going to keep my mouse button hold. I'm going to go to the top tab here. So I go over to my digital graphic image, and I'm simply going to plonk it in there. There we go. And that has now put it on a new layer. And I can do exactly the same thing as I would do with anything else in here. So I can move it around again because it's on its own layer. If I want to make it bigger, I can use the transform tool, which is one of the tools I'm going to be using shortly in one of the other videos. If you want a heads up about it now, let's Control and T, and that allows me then to scale that and see it as it is and make it a bit clearer. There we go. A really effective tool, especially if you want a picture in the background of your text or some kind of texture that is relevant to the digital graphic you are creating.